controversial, and it's only controversial if you come from a poor community where there's no economy, because they will never approach a community that has economy or money. They'll never approach them with trying to have these fracking wells in there, because it's what we call environmental genocide. They ain't gonna put a dump. They're going to put a well near Beverly Hills or somewhere where they're rich. They're going to put it right here where we have no economy, and they're going to use that economy against us to divide our people. Like our relatives talked about, some of our people say that we should go along with this fracking in order to build economy, create jobs here. And some people say no, because we're running out of water. And so the people who are about money say let's frack it, and those of us who are against it say frack no. Fracking is short for hydraulic fracturing, all right? And people argue that hydraulic fracturing is safe, that once they fracture the shale, that none of the gas deposits will leak out into our drinking water or into our air or into our soil. It's not just the hydraulic fracturing, right? It's the whole process that comes with it. Because first we have to gather all this gathering of the natural resources that you're going to use, because you're going to need water and sand. And also inside this fracking fluid is water and sand and a whole list of chemicals that doesn't have to be disclosed. During the Bush and Cheney administration, there was an energy bill passed. And because of trade secrets, they don't have to disclose the type of chemicals that are in this fracking fluid. So there's water, sand, and a whole lot of chemicals that are in this fracking fluid. First of all, let me start out and explain what fracking is. What they're going to do is they come and they drill a hole. I'm talking about a deep, deep well. It goes through the drinking water and it goes down, say, 8,000 feet. If you can imagine the Empire State Building, it's one of the tallest buildings in the United States. They go down at least 8 Empire State Buildings down into the earth, right? So they're busting through our drinking water, and maybe other pockets of natural gases and anyway, they go down 8,000 feet and they just begin horizontal drilling. They're going to drill horizontally under the earth once they hit the shale bed. Well, what fracturing is a long time ago they weren't able to extract gases and oil out of solid rock. So by fracturing, what they do is they drill horizontally and they get through the solid rock, the shale. And what they do is they have a perforating gun that comes in there, and they have a small explosion all along the horizontal while that they drill. And it creates fissures and cracks all along the well. Right? So then they come and they pump this fracking fluid into the well, and everywhere they created a crack or a fissure, it shatters it. And it creates a whole bunch of cracks, right? So when you pull the liquid out, the sand stays inside of the well, and it holds all the cracks and fissures open so that the gas can be released. Well, during this process, when you're pumping the fracking fluid into the mine in order to create fissures, sometimes it creates a crack at the end of the pipe, and it will continue on into the soil. And the thing with any natural gas or oil or water that's in the earth, what it will do is find the path of least resistance. So eventually this contaminants in this water is going to find a way out of there, either into our soil, our drinking water, or into our air. So when you hear the term fracking, it's a method of extracting these gases and oil from the earth. They have to drill and dig really, really deep wells, and they use explosives in order to fracture the earth. Well, each time a well is done, use from 1 million to 8 million gallons of fresh drinking water. And every time let's see, a well can be fracked up to 18 times. So if you use 800 gallons of water in that well, and then you fracked it 18 more times, you know, that's if you do the math, that's a whole lot of water that we're using and we're wasting because it can't be reclaimed, and this water, they have, to dispose of the fracking fluid, they have holding tanks and they have tailing ponds. And a lot of times, these are the reasons that our drinking water and our animals and plants get contaminated. Say like in Pennsylvania, they had these holding tanks. They had all the fracking fluid in the holding tanks in the field. And some cattle had bumped the drain on one of these, just rubbing against it, and some of the fracking fluid started to leak. And within 1 hour of the cattle being exposed to the fracking fluid, they died. That's direct exposure to this fracking fluid. So if it could take the life of the cattle, something many times bigger than a human, imagine what the contaminants will do to humans, especially our children and our old people, right? And some of this water, one time in Pennsylvania, had gotten into a drinking source for cattle. There was a small amount of contaminant got in the water. But that year, they had an amazing amount of stillborn cattle. And the rest of them were stunted growth. So if these contaminants are killing cattle and causing babies to be born still, and they're causing these cattle to have stunted growth, you can imagine what it's going to do to humans if we consume these contaminants. And so, also with the whole process of hydrofracking, you have to drill wells. So every time you drill a well, you're creating cracks and fissures all the way through our water tables, and you're contaminating our drinking water. So, let's see, there's a whole process that comes with hydrofracking. It's not just drilling the well itself. It's what are we going to do with the fracking fluids once we're done using them. There's going to be millions and millions and millions of gallons, actually trillions of gallons, to sustain thousands of wells that are proposed to be drilled, you know? So you have to think about what are you going to do with this fracking fluid. What they usually do is they pump it into an empty well in the earth, and it's just stored there, deep within the earth, you know? So we'll have to think about what we're going to do with this fracking fluid, and a lot of times there's water under the earth, and it's ancient water, but it's 10 times the amount of saline as the seawater or the ocean water. And a lot of contaminants are in this water, and somehow something they have to do with all this produced water. And